4 Maui poets are gearing up for a national competition with a fundraising event here at the Gallery Ha in Wailuku.
You see, fear is an energy which locks a closing door.
What does she look like? The color magenta,
Restraining is nonsense. Don't ingest to invest, retain my
It has become so blatant, it is at all difficult to assimilate. We are being hoodwinked.
In the last 4 months, we came up with a way to determine the team from all of the slam poets that come to the Open Slam. And the 4 poets that are going to Madison are some of the poets that have been with us. Most of them have been with us from the very beginning. The most recent addition is Jay Mark, who just started slamming with us this year, really, and really an amazing addition to the poetry slam world here on Maui. But something like Just Son Stoltz, he's been slamming with us since our second slam at the bookstore. And Pat inspired the slam. Pat basically told us that, you guys should do poetry slams. And we said, well, what's that? And we did it that first month in our bookstore, and ever since then it's taken on a life of its own. And so we're really excited, not only that the slam is doing very well right now here on Maui, but that we can send a team from Maui to represent in the Nationals.
I thought our purpose was health and the journey inside, observing the cells and how they divide. Now they say we're in hell and we're serving our time. I say we're doing well and we're turning the tide. That's why I'm spurring my mind and I'm curing these rhymes so I can hit the mic pure and divine, just like.
If you ask most people if they like poetry, they're like, I don't know about poetry. But like slam poetry is like something young people like old people like it's like a bridge the gap between the generations, because it's poetry, but it's like intense. It's like performance poetry. The person is like putting everything into it, it's more than just somebody just off, a piece of paper, da 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 da, it's like boom in your face. This is slam poetry, it's intense and exciting, and it's real raw.
My soul resides not in my core, but in my pores. The dots, the sun-sprinkled spots on my skin. I'm inside out, unzipped, standing on this stage, this ledge of sped-up musing, sometimes.
Most of my poems are about myself. It sounds really egotistical, but actually in slam poetry, I'm rather rare, because most slam poets are hip-hoppers and really young people. There's no one my age that I know of, certainly none on Maui. And I'm thinking that when I go national, I might be the only older Japanese woman, and certainly from Maui. I would be really strange. And so I expose myself by talking about myself. I talk about my birth and my upbringing, and I make fun of, all the cultural strangeness about growing up Japanese in Lahaina. And I think that's interesting.
Every human thought, hence every human action, is either based on love or based on fear. Motivated by our sense of lost transgressions, well, duality has split our minds' frontiers. You see, fear is an energy which locks a closing door. It draws in hate and hides a choice that heals, whereas love is an emotion expanding all the more. I come from a teaching background, so most of all mine are didactics. They're lessons to be learned that I abide by. Those are the ones that I need to think about, how I'm going to run my life, what I'm going to do with myself, how I'm going to interact with people, and I put them in a poetry form, and mainly in a traditional verse, which means alliteration and rhyme and timbre and meter. I think the movement as itself, it was born in the 60s. It was relived in the 80s, and now we're seeing it revisited. It has a new twist on it because of the newer generation.
Can we really continue to live like this, pretending to exist righteous, only to steal with our left hand and plan to strike with our right fist? We humans claim to be created in a creator's likeness, then seem to do nothing more but consume, more like a virus. Can we actually persist and progress amidst such contemporary mindlessness?
My poetry ranges, how do I put it? It's like a roller coaster of clarity, I'm just kind of seeking, in every poem I'm seeking, I'm seeking something, whether it be a political statement of how we can help society in general, or how I can basically just help myself, It's, every poem is something there's always a goal, you know. I try to break it to where we can find a new realm of, you know, how do I say, consciousness in a sense, you know.
How exciting is it to go to the national competition and see people like from all over the United States?
Dream come true, you know. I mean, Saul Williams is one of poet I've followed for years. He's going to be there. He's part of the New York team. It's just amazing. He was talking about Big Poppy E. They're all wonderful poets, and they're all going to be there. 84 teams throughout the world, you know. It's like, how can, you know, to even be attached to Maui's name, let alone to be a representative is awesome, but just to be there as a spectator is just going to be wonderful.
Maui Slam competitions are held the last Thursday of every month at Casanovas in upcountry Maui. There's also a fundraising event for the team that's going to be performing in the Nationals every Friday here at the Gallery Ha in Wailuku. For MauiToday.tv, I'm Wendy Osher.
MauiToday.tv.
What's your name again?